Hello friends, I am Thounaojam Naresh Singh and I am pursuing master degree in lovely professional university. So my topic is on electoral reforms in India. So let's start from the introduction. The first three general elections were held in a free and fair ways. It is generally acknowledged that during the fourth general election in 1967, standard began to decline. The country's electoral system is frequently cited as the root causes of political corruption. This means that general elections were held in a free and fair manner till the third general election. So in the fourth general election, the standard of free and fair manner declined. Also, many intellectuals consider that it is because of political corruption that results from maladministration. So the next point is, in a democracy, elections are the most fundamental and significant aspect of politics. True democracy can function only when elections are held in free and fair manner. So this means that India as a democratic country, as a true democratic country, India should function its elections in a free and fair manner. As election is the most important part in the democratic country, it should be function in a perfect manner. To make it perfect, the rules, regulations and directives of the election process should be maintained. And also, election process in India have been changed quite few times to maintain the dignity of the voting right and to eliminate corruption from all possible level. So that is why election electoral reforms is needed. So next slide is on major issues in Indian electoral politics. So the first point is money power. One of the prime issues that the election procedures in India face even today is money and power. Okay, so in every constituency, candidates have to spend crores of rupees for campaigning, publicity, etc. Most candidates far exceeds the permissible limit of expenses. This means that candidates spend a very large amount of money for publicities and campaigning for the agenda of their respective parties. Okay, it requires great resource, including money, to make people understand the power of parties and to drive people to vote. Most of the time, the parties exceeds the permissible extent of expenses to display their stronghold. So the next point is muscle power. In certain part of the country, there are widespread reports of illegal and untoward incidents during polling, such as the use of violence, intimidation, boot capturing. This thing like use of violence, intimidation, or boot capturing. This had been we have experienced or we have seen from media or any other data collection that this uh, process is being done while during polling. So the next point is on uh, criminalization of politics and politicization of criminal. Another devastating issues of the election process conducted in India is the criminalization of politics using muscle and money power. In fact, politicians with strong criminal background are also witnessed getting tickets from respective parties to compete in an election. So this means that criminal entered into politics and ensure that money and muscle power wins them election. Political parties are also happy as long as they have winnable candidate. Even the funds and protection of political parties are somehow done by this criminal. So the next point is misusing government machineries. Using government machinery such as vehicle tools, even low personnels have been witnessed in elections. So this means that there is a general opinion that a party in politics uses government machineries to improve the chances of winning their candidate. So this misusing government machineries is also a major issue in Indian electoral politics. So let's go to the next point, that is lack of moral values in politics. People enter the political arena for making money and retaining their money and power. So, the political corruption in India has led to politics becoming a business, and the Gandhian values of service and sacrifice are missing from the Indian political scenario. So, next point is on other issues: casteism, communalism, religion. So, beside the above mentioned issues like lack of moral values in politics, misusing government machineries, muscle power, money power, and everything which I mentioned above. Beside these mentioned issues in the electoral politics of the country, there are other issues such as presence of casteism as well as communalism and attracting votes with respect to caste and religion. So let's go to the next slide. Electoral reforms pre-2000, lowering of voting ages. The 61st Amendment Act to the Constitution reduced the minimum age for voting from 21 to 18 years. Deputation to Election Commission. All personnel working in preparing, revising, and correcting the electoral rules for elections shall be considered to be on deputation to Election Commission for the period of such employment, and they shall be superintended by the Election Commission. So the next point is increase in the number of proposers and the security deposit. The number of electors required to sign as proposers in the nomination paper for election to the Rajya Sabha and the State Legislative Council has been raised to 10% of the electors of the constituencies or 10 such electors. The security deposit has also been hiked to prevent non-serious candidates. Next one is electronic voting machine, EVM. As we all know, it is EVM machine first introduced in 1998 during the state election of Delhi, Madhya Pradesh, and Rajasthan. Electronic voting machines are used widely now as they are foolproof, efficient, and a better option in terms of the environment. Next point is disqualification on conviction for violating the National Honors Act 1971. This shall lead to disqualification of the person for 6 years from contesting the parliament and the state legislature. Let's go to the next slide. This is again continuation of the pre-2000. Restriction on contesting from more than two constituencies. A candidate cannot contest more than two constituencies. So the next point is death of a contesting candidate. Previously, the election was countermanded on the death of the contesting candidate. In the future, no election will be countermanded on the death of a contesting candidate. If the dead candidate, however, was set up by a recognized national or state party, then the party concerned will be given an option to nominate another candidate within 7 days of the issue notice to the party concerned by the election commission. It is prohibited by law to go to or near a polling booth bearing arms. This is punishable by imprisonment for up to 2 years. On poll days, employees of organization get a paid holiday, and violation of this is punishable by a fine. Prohibition on sale of liquor. No liquor or other intoxicants shall be sold or given or distributed at any shop, eating place, or any other places, whether private or public, within a polling area during the period of 48 hours
ending with the hour fixed for the conclusion of poll. Time limit for by-election to any house of parliament or a state legislature will now be held within 6 months of occurrence of the vacancy in that house. Let's go to the next slide, electoral reforms post 2000. So the previous one is pre 2000 and this one is post 2000. So let's start from first point, selling on election expenditure. At present, there is no limit on the amount a political party can spend in an election or on a candidate. But the Commission has put a cap on individual candidates' spending. For the Lok Sabha election, it is rupees 50 to 70 lakh. Depending on the state they are contesting the Lok Sabha seat from, and rupees 20 to 28 lakhs for the assembly election. And let's go to the next point, restriction on exit polls. The Election Commission issued a statement before the 2019 Lok Sabha election, saying that exit poll results could be broadcast only after the final phases of the election were over. This was done to avoid prospective voters being misguided or prejudiced in any manner. Voting through postal ballot. In 2013, the Election Commission decided to expand the ambit of postal ballot voting in the country. Previously, only Indian staff in mission abroad or defense personnel in a limited way could vote postal ballot. So now there are six categories of voters who can use the postal ballot. Service voters, special voters, wife of service voter and special voters, both subjected to preventive detention, both on election duty, and notified voters. So the next point is awareness creation. The government decided to observe January 25th or 25th as National Voters Day to mark the Election Commission's founding day. Political parties need to report any contribution in excess of 20,000 to the Election Commission for claiming income tax benefit. Declaring of criminal antecedents, assets, etc. by the candidate is required, and declaring false information in the affidavit is now an electoral offense punishable with imprisonment up to 6 months or fine or both. Let's go to conclusion. There are different other major and minor political reforms in India amended by the Election Commission to ensure the dignity and directive of an election conducted. Over the years, these significant changes brought noteworthy transformations in the election process. It also reflects on the responsibilities of the authoritative bodies that looks after the election, its directives, the function of election professionals, and controlling the parties contesting in the election in different aspects. So this is the conclusion, and thank you.